Thank you for coming to Edmonton IDPD 2021. I am sitting here with Tony Flores, who was the first ever advocate in Alberta for persons with disabilities and a celebrated athlete and competitor.
Well, thank you. Welcome to my home. Thank you for including me to this special event, 2021 IDPD in Edmonton. And yeah, it's I was the first disability advocate for persons with disability in Alberta. It was quite a privilege and really a humbling experience serving the disability community. Yeah, thank you.
Again, thank you, Tony. Do you mind telling us where you grew up and what your family life was like in the earlier years before we all knew you?
Yeah, I was born and raised in the Philippines, really a small town in the Philippines. I'm number eighth of 9 children. 5 boys and 4 girls. Yeah, I had polio when I was 1 year old, which impacted my right leg. I use crutches, and also I'm a wheelchair user now. As I age, I depend more and more on my wheelchair. Yeah, I immigrated in this country about 38 years ago, in 1984, with my mom and dad and the rest of my siblings. I really, every day when I wake up in the morning, I'm really quite thankful to live in this country, because, you know, I could not really imagine myself living in the Philippines with a disability. You know, like, you know, I love this small house I have. I live independently. You know, I have my own career. You know, I was able to pursue sports. The fact that, you know, the theme of this IDPD this year is on sports. So I was able to do, you know, pursue sports that I truly enjoyed. So always thankful being part of this community in Alberta and this country. So, yeah.
You've touched on this already a little bit, but the theme of Edmonton IDPD 2021 is the road to the podium, moving from recreational sport to competitive sport. What sports did you compete in and at what level?
Yeah, I started wheelchair racing, you know, here in Edmonton, actually just through local clubs here, through University of Alberta. Yeah, I competed locally and internationally, and then after wheelchair racing, I moved on to cross country skiing, sit skiing actually. On a sled, and also competed in locally and international level, World Cups, World Championships. And then my last sport, paracanoe, or you know, sprint kayaking for people with disabilities. I was a sprinter, 200 meters, single men, and I was a national champion, I believe, in 2009. And I was a member of the national team and competed in World Championships. Not a podium guy. It's very difficult to be a podium guy, but it was such a privilege to be representing Canada in this high-level competition. So yeah, I retired in 2013 after my parents passed away. I just couldn't somehow. Maybe it was age 2. So, somehow after my parents passed away, I just couldn't keep up with the demands of performing at a high performance level. So, but it's okay. Life moves on.
Thank you so much for that. What accomplishment would you say you're the most proud of to date? And it definitely doesn't have to be at a competitive sport level. It can be about anything else.
Yeah, well, you know, that's a hard question. Interesting, you know, life, I don't know, reflecting on life, I think things just unfold upon us. and I think it's important that we just embrace it, whether or not it's a, you know, I think everything is a blessing, whether it's a challenge or you know, something good or great things, but I think it's how you look at things. I think, having said that, one thing that opened up upon or laid upon me was really becoming the first disability advocate in Alberta, and really setting the tone as the first disability advocate in terms of I've worked for the government as a frontline employee for 17 years before being a disability advocate, and there's a great people at the government, but people are jaded and really overworked. And what I want to set a tone when I became a disability advocate is to really raise the standard of service for people with disabilities. So I think setting that tone, I hope that will carry on beyond my term. So in a way that's somewhat I'm quite proud of. So we've created a culture now in the office that, you know, customer service is paramount. So this once in a while I create my own music. You know, I'm not a great pianist at all. I'm not a classical pianist, so I was really not a great pianist at all. So, but I enjoy music, so I said, okay, I'm not a great classical pianist, so I'll just create my own. My style of music is really minimalist. It's really mellow. It's not a concert big bang music. It's more of reflective music. The first one I composed, I've titled it really Celebration. It was really inspired when I used to be competitive, when I used to do wheelchair marathon. And it's sort of a day in the life of a wheelchair marathoner. As you can see later on, or hear later on when I play it, is that the first part of that music is sort of when you wake up in the morning and the sun shines through your window. When you wake up in the morning, you can feel the sunshine in your face. Part of that music also, you can feel the challenges of a marathon. You know, you can feel the pains of that marathon, the uphills and the downhill, and at the end of that marathon, you can feel the sort of the relief, you know, that the race is over. So, but I thought it was a beautiful title to say, I think, with these great opportunities I have had in this country, to call it Celebration. So I usually cross my legs, but because I don't have control of this, you know, so I put weight. You know why I do this? Because I put weight. You know why? You know what I mean? Then I can anchor to put pedal on.
Right.
If that makes sense. So this is probably would be better. piece that I'd like to play two pieces for you folks. Another composition of mine, again, it's somewhat really reflective of again my blessings in this country, but it's very simple music, but it's really titled, I titled it Unfinished, because you know, in life I think we're always excited for the unknown. We're always looking forward we always look forward for the undiscovered, right? So that's why I titled it Unfinished. So yeah. It's unfinished.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of our event today and letting us into your home and to record your beautiful melodies, and we couldn't thank you enough.